After a comeback hailed as a ray of light following a long absence, Park Bo-gum has left audiences stunned with a surprising fall. Could it be that the sweet taste of When Life Gives You Tangerines blinded him too early to his own missteps? The fall after the glory, what went wrong? After years away to fulfill his military service, Park Bo-gum made his return to the screen with a surprisingly modest choice, When Life Gives You Tangerines, a drama without bombastic marketing, a blockbuster cast, or flashy effects. Yet it was precisely that quiet, unassuming approach that catapulted him back into the spotlight in the most profound way. His portrayal of Kwon-sik, a humble, self-sacrificing man living a life of silent love, became a turning point in Bo-gum's career. He gained 5 kilograms, toned down his expressions, adjusted his voice, and abandoned his prince-like image to fully embody this working-class character. And it worked. The public, used to seeing him as the charming heartthrob, was forced to acknowledge something deeper. Park Bo-gum was no longer just a pretty face. He had evolved, or so we thought. The overwhelming success of Tangerines raised high expectations. Was this finally the version of Bo-gum we had been waiting for, one who had found his true acting rhythm, matured into roles with depth, ready to shed his old image? But just as hopes were soaring, Good Boy arrived, and with it, a jarring misstep that left both fans and critics disillusioned. Good Boy, when Park Bo-gum becomes the spare part in his own story. From its initial announcement, Good Boy was hyped as a groundbreaking project, an action series with a unique Olympic athlete-turned-cop premise, featuring the beloved Bo-gum alongside rising star Kim So-young. Major streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney+, and Amazon Prime had their hands in it. All signs pointed to success. Yet when it aired, disappointment hit hard. Ratings hovered around a dismal 5% and steadily declined, despite heavy promotion. Praises quickly gave way to criticism, from cliched storytelling and overstuffed action scenes, to excessive violence and a distinct lack of chemistry between the leads. Bo-gum's role as Yoon Dong-yo, a former Olympic gold medalist turned elite police officer, was supposed to be a bold pivot. But the character was poorly written, trapped in repetitive tropes, and lacking emotional nuance. The depth he brought to Kwon-sik in Tangerines was nowhere to be found. Instead of appearing gritty or intense, Dong-yo came across as hollow, a performance that felt forced rather than transformative. Worse yet, the show drew backlash for its relentless blood and brutality while still targeting a 15-plus audience on national television. Viewers felt betrayed as the series shifted from light-hearted investigation to relentless violence. And as the lead, Bo-gum naturally bore the brunt of the fallout. The heat trap, a familiar pitfall for stars trying to stay relevant. Critics argue that Good Boy's failure isn't just Bo-gum's alone, it reflects a broader industry pattern. Many post-military stars face immense pressure to prove they're still relevant, often rushing into the wrong projects to stay hot. Actors returning from enlistment often feel the need to immediately prove their star power, leading them to pick high-stakes roles not for artistic reasons, but out of image anxiety, says critic Lee Young-min in Korea Times. Bo-gum has long faced skepticism over his script choices. After Reply 1988, while he shined in Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, his subsequent projects felt too safe, repetitive, even. His image as the eternally sweet lead began to wear thin. Tangerines finally broke that cycle, but Good Boy threatens to reset the clock. Not everyone gets multiple Tangerines. Audiences never expected Bo-gum to become an action star or a hard-boiled detective. What they wanted was simpler, a thoughtful actor who makes the right choices at the right time, someone who respects the role more than the spotlight. Tangerines was a symbol, not because it was a hit, but because Bo-gum stripped away the gloss and moved viewers with silence and subtlety. That's a rare skill, wrote TV critic Kim Pyo-jin in Herald Pop. Good Boy is not a career-ending failure. But it is a critical warning. Without time to reflect and carefully select his next step, Bo-gum risks another tumble, and the entertainment world is not forgiving to those who stumble twice. In an industry where public memory is short, and new faces are born each month, even a beloved actor like Bo-gum has to prove his staying power, not with popularity, but with consistency. After Good Boy, who will Park Bo-gum be? What Park Bo-gum needs now is not another massive project. He needs time and clarity. He is no longer a rising star seeking attention. He is an actor with legacy potential, if he makes the right moves. If Tangerines was a sweet success of someone coming of age, then Good Boy is a hard but necessary lesson about ego, pressure, and premature transformation. And perhaps, the real question now is not about his next role, but whether Bogum wants to chase fame or craft. Because in this business, fans will always find new people to love. But they only stay loyal to those who make them believe. Once hailed as Korea's nation's crown prince, Park Bo-gum's return to acting was supposed to be triumphant. Instead, it has ignited a wave of skepticism. Was Good Boy simply a poor choice, or a revealing sign of deeper issues beneath his stardom? After completing his military service, Park Bo-gum had the world waiting. Fans, critics, producers, all eager to see how the beloved actor would reclaim his spot in an industry that had changed in his absence. He answered that anticipation with When Life Gives You Tangerines, a heartfelt drama that didn't rely on spectacle, but on sincerity. It worked. The project marked a career-defining transformation, proving Bogum could trade pretty boy charm for emotional depth and maturity. He gained weight for the role, altered his speech pattern, and fully immersed himself in the life of Kwon-sik, a selfless man enduring poverty but filled with love. The result? Critical acclaim, soaring ratings, and most importantly, a newly established reputation as a serious actor. Tangerines was not just a successful comeback, it was the kind of artistic rebirth that few Korean actors ever truly achieve. So why did he follow it up with Good Boy, a chaotic, blood-soaked action drama that has quickly become one of the most confusing decisions in his career? Good Boy, an overheated machine with no heart. In Good Boy, Bogum plays Yoon Dong-yo, a former Olympic athlete roped into a secret special force called Olympic Avengers. The concept was novel, the cast promising, and the buzz intense. Platforms like Netflix, Disney+, and Amazon Prime fought for distribution rights. Expectations were sky high. But almost instantly, cracks began to show. The story was formulaic. The pacing, disjointed. And Bogum's character? Lacking depth, charisma, and direction. Critics described his performance as mechanical, and viewers complained of poor chemistry between him and co-star Kim So-yoon. Worst of all, the series leaned heavily into jarring, excessive violence that felt disconnected from both Bogum's image and the show's original tone. What was supposed to be a genre-breaking performance ended up breaking audience trust. Ratings plummeted to 5%, and online forums flooded with disappointment. The real problem: strategic misjudgment. This isn't just about one bad script. Good Boy exposed something deeper, a miscalculation in Park Bo-gum's career strategy. After years of being typecast in soft, romantic roles, Tangerines proved he could evolve. But instead of consolidating that artistic growth, Bogum seemed to overcorrect, chasing a genre that didn't align with his strengths, simply to prove range. This kind of pivot is common among returning stars. Post-military actors often rush into bold, edgy roles in an attempt to shed their boy-next-door image. But range isn't about extremity, it's about choosing what's right, not what's loud. Park Bo-gum didn't need to prove he could do action. He needed to prove he could sustain emotional authenticity across genres, commented critic Choi Soong-jin of Cine21. Good Boy skipped the depth for spectacle, and he got lost in the noise.